Westchester County, New York. I'm on a mission to talk to 914 people in the 914. Today I'm at the MD1 Athletic Facility in Mount Vernon, New York to talk to professional wrestler Jarett Diaz. We talk about growing up in Westchester, how Westchester Community College changed his life, and of course, pro wrestling and sports. So let's get inside and have an awesome conversation.
No need to be in the middle, just keep pushing forward. Grateful for all that's around here in the 914.
Where in Westchester did you grow up, and what are some of your memories?
So I was born in the Bronx, but I moved to Harrison. My parents got us out of that public school system and brought us into Westchester.
Yep.
I grew up in Harrison and then transferred to Pelham late in high school. So I've kind of been a little all over the place Westchester-wise, but you hang out in Yonkers, you hang out in White Plains, going to the Westchester and the Galleria, so we were talking about off screen. Some memories are Westchester Knicks games at the County Center.
Yeah.
Some memories
that's great, dude.
Going to the movies at City Center or hitting Cross County in Yonkers. Some memories are coming to the gym that we're in right now in Mount Vernon or in Pelham and sharing, basically working out and becoming a community with all these other young athletes and high school athletes, college athletes that have come through Westchester schools, whether it be public or private, and just creating a hub here for young athletes.
Yeah, dude, I mean, that's amazing. I have done and felt very similar, but for more on the music side than the athletic side, but it's very cool. Even talking to you in the past 5 minutes before this, I feel like we have some similar connections and just that hey, we grew up in Westchester and we're know the things we like to do and we're just trying to figure out how to do them kind of thing. We're here in Mount Vernon at this athletic facility. Can you tell me a little bit about this place and what we're doing?
This where we are right now is called the MD1 Athletic Facility. And it's run by my dad, Mike Diaz, who after working at the New York Athletic Club as a personal trainer, decided to take his skill to his own business, where over the last 12 years or so, we've been able to pass through hundreds of athletes. And of those hundreds of athletes, we have dozens of pro players through football and basketball and baseball and lacrosse. And, we've been able to create a sense of family here because you weren't here earlier, but what was going on was a touch football game, basically from former and current clients, right? People that come through here, they know that this is a place that they can always come back to.
Yeah.
And whether it be hanging out or working out, they know that this is a place where we as trainers love our clients and support our clients, whether it be in their sport or in their personal lives as well.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, that's super cool. Is everything that goes on here, is it kind of like a monthly thing, like a gym almost, or is it more per program?
It is a gym, but it's a private facility, so we only do personal training type situations. So
Got it.
Everything we do is sports specific, right? If you're a baseball player, we're training you to train for baseball. If you're a football player, you're not going to work out the same way as a basketball player. And we have very experienced trainers at the collegiate and pro level in football, in baseball, in lacrosse, to where every athlete is going to be doing something different for their sport specifically. And they'll come in for, singular, basically packs of trainings. So instead of I pay a membership and I come as I please, you'll schedule your private personal time with each trainer to make sure that you're getting the best work that you can.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It seems like a pretty unique place for Westchester. I don't know if something like this exists elsewhere.
It absolutely is. And I think the best part about what we do also makes us the most unique in that we don't advertise. We're not on social media in the same way that a lot of other gyms would be. We are word of mouth only. We're by referral. People come in from all corners of New York and even Connecticut and New Jersey to come train here because what we do here is so special.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It seems like an awesome vibe. As soon as I walked in, seeing the dogs and everyone hanging out and just having a good time.
It's a family vibe in here.
Yeah,
we really do love our people here.
So let's talk about pro wrestling a little bit.
Let's.
I'm a big fan of pro wrestling. I've fallen a little out over the years, but WWE was the jam.
No, you're always welcome to come back in, man.
Come
back in the fold. It's great.
What got you into pro wrestling?
I was in the after school program at Parsons Elementary School in Harrison.
Okay.
And I remember specifically I was sitting next to a classmate of mine who had a PSP.
Okay.
And it was he was playing WWE game 2007. and Shawn Michaels hitting a super kick on somebody, and it was like a cinematic, cool visual of the thing. Coolest thing I've ever saw. I said, hey, what is that? And he told me, oh, it's like WWE wrestling. You got to watch it. It's on tonight on Raw. I've never seen it before. I'm 10 years old.
Yeah.
I turned it on, and I fall in love immediately. And since then, since I was 10, I went to an indie show in Yonkers. I went to the County Center. I went to the Garden
I went to the
to
County
watch
Center.
these wrestling
Yeah.
shows, and I fell in love. And when I finished high school, I trained briefly in Long Island at Creative Pro, and shortly after playing some college football in Indiana, I moved to Florida and fully pursued wrestling.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
So you went to school for wrestling?
Yeah, so there's an actual wrestling, and there are many wrestling schools where they teach you exactly how to fall, how to run the ropes, how to roll properly, how to properly execute moves. And unfortunately, there isn't one in Westchester, and that grinds my gears so much because there are so many wrestling fans and like people who love this in
I feel
this
like
county.
even wrestlers.
Yeah, there
Isn't Tommy Dreamer from Yonkers?
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer,
yeah,
Eddie
yeah.
Kingston from Yonkers.
Yeah,
There's-
Eddie Kingston,
Yeah,
too,
there
right?
are
That's right.
wrestlers across this county, and like,
Yeah.
and also amateur wrestling is big in this county too. With our state, a lot of wrestling state championships in New York come from Westchester. So there is a avenue for what I do in this county, and there just aren't any schools. Long Island, Queens, Brooklyn, there are schools. So that's where I found my way.
Amazing, dude. Yeah, it's funny you say Shawn Michaels, because so wrestling was a thing that I connected with my dad a lot on when we growing up, and I remember one of the first wrestling shows I ever went to was SummerSlam, where it was Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and that was very like life-changing for me too, huge match. So like I just
Well, they were trying to kill each other, basically. I remember that. 2002, I think.
Yeah, I was there.
That's
I think it was
crazy,
at maybe Nassau.
Coliseum in Long Island.
I think it was
That's
in Nassau.
wild. That's wild.
Yep. Do you feel like Westchester was a place for someone that wants to get into pro sports to flourish?
You know, it depends on the sport, right? So, as I was saying here earlier, we have athletes through every sport, and we have athletes who've gotten to the professional level in every sport. It is a lot more difficult in football or basketball than, say, lacrosse, right? Lacrosse and baseball have a thriving culture in Westchester, specifically in the private school circuit, but in general, right? So Major League Lacrosse and Major League Baseball, and a lot of college athletes that's come through as well. Westchester football is a lot more, it's behind, right? So that's something that I take personally as somebody who came through Westchester, but when I was on my path to play football in college, I wasn't doing anything in Westchester. I was leaving to go to the South, to go to the Midwest. I was in Florida, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, Indiana, Oklahoma, like I was going everywhere but here because I knew I know the football scene in Westchester is not as strong as it should be. In terms of football IQ, we are far behind running systems that are thriving in the 1970s, and we're 2022, about to be 2023 maybe by the time this airs. So I would love for our football community to take a step forward and progress in the right direction. Basketball is not too far behind because New York's always going to be a hub for basketball.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense. And I can, like, as almost like an outsider, like I grew up playing Little League until I was about 12, 13, and I found guitar and like kind of just shut everything else
Yeah,
off.
you found your passion, man.
But like I went to the Yonkers public schools my whole life, and sports were just continuously slashed. Like I mean, music
Yonkers
programs too.
especially.
Yeah,
You
it
guys
was just
have. I think
slashed.
Yonkers in football and high school has its own sort of competition circuit. Like you guys mostly just play each other.
Well, I think now, not when I was in high school, but now it's like 2 teams that make up the like 7 high schools.
Yeah.
That they just split the
Right, because schools started cutting their programs.
But when I was in high school, every school had a team.
Gotcha.
But even that, like, I mean, my high school didn't have a football field. We just played on the park behind my high
God.
school, you know, so it's like...
I can imagine. That's
I
gotta be
could've-
tough.
yeah, I could
And
see
it also
that.
depends on school funding, too. Like, I know Mount Vernon's program doesn't have as much money as Harrison's, or Hastings-on-Hudson doesn't have as much money as the New Rochelle's. It depends on funding, too. But on the whole, I think that would be the sport where our community is most lacking.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It's something I never thought about. But let's talk about your show, 60-Second Drill.
Let's talk about 60-second drill, yeah.
So this is a new thing you're doing?
It is. It's brand new. It's on TikTok at 60-second drill, all worded out. On Instagram at 60-second drill.
I'll write it out.
Yeah,
I'll
it'll be right down there. So it's basically a 1-minute sports review, right? It's a story of the day type situation. I went to college for sports broadcasting, and I used to go to WCC where I was doing sports radio.
Yeah.
And I figured, I am a wrestler. That is my primary focus, right? But putting my degree to work in a way that I can try to reach an audience and tell stories, because whether it be wrestling or in sports, everything we consume is stories.
100%.
And a way to try to engage someone, whether it be emotionally or otherwise. So I just launched this last week. I want to find an audience and help people consume a sports story quickly while still engaging their attention, and then they can move on with the rest of the day.
Dude, it is the thing I tell everybody now, because I'm in music, but the way the world works now, and the way you have to basically build your own media company. And
right.
Then you become the media for yourself and whatever it is you do.
Exactly.
You're a wrestler, but you can just create content about sports and wrestling, and
100%.
then people now know who you
You're the star
are.
and the editor and the shooter and the writer, and you're running the social media pages, and you have to be your own boss and employee.
Yeah.
But if you can find a way to make it all work, then why not?
Yeah.
Right? I found myself making this content for other people. That's all great when it pays. But you should also put that work in for yourself as well.
Oh, anything within content creation, always 100% is like, you have to like it first. Because I've tried making content that I didn't like, and it's completely unsustainable.
Of course.
Because you will never get it to the point where it'll be successful, because you're not going to want to do it.
Yeah, the passion has to be there, the commitment has to be there. It's the follow through.
It's the
really
execution.
thriving in any job, but when it comes to content creating, is doing that grind every single day.
Yeah.
On your own.
And I always tell people, just get 1% better. Like every video you make, learn a new tool, try a new thing to say, try a new hook, 1% better all the time.
Make those captions a little cleaner, make this logo a little bit more centered, anything like that. If you get a little better every time, you'll find that audience. That's what I believe.
I love that you're doing it every day. And because that is the way to do that, I think, is pushing yourself to just make all the time will constantly make you make better. Because I think that the hardest thing, especially for content creation for people, is they don't just want to start because they want to make content that looks like their favorite content.
Right.
But that's impossible if you don't start, because you don't have that skill level yet.
Of course.
You're not there yet.
Because you have to put the time in.
Yeah.
I've wanted to start something like this for probably 2 years now. And I said to myself, I have a whole bunch of wrestling dates and then a block of holiday time, basically, where I'm not wrestling at all.
Yeah.
And during that time where I'm just coming into the gym and I'm just doing my regular work, I have to put my free time and my commitment and my creativity somewhere.
Yeah.
This is the best time to do it. So last week I launched it, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, dude. It's like one of those things I always say is people be like, yeah, I'm just getting ready to do it. I got to get this first. And I'm like, no. Just take your phone out and make for today. Yep. Today's your launch date. You just start, so that's dope. That's you're diving into that. Name 3 of your favorite spots in Westchester. Restaurants, places to hang, places you spend your time, whatever, anything.
My 3 favorite spots, other than this, because I'm here almost every day.
Yeah.
My 3 favorite spots in Westchester. Number 1 is New Rock City.
Wow.
New Rock City is dying.
It's gone.
I love New York.
I
I love
it's
New York
gone.
City. It's not. It's not. I still go see a movie there.
Okay.
We got Applebee's and Buffalo Wild Wings. New Rock was like when my cousin, who's a year younger than me and my best friend, when we're little and we want one of our dads to take us to the movies, we're going to New Rock City. The mini golf's not there, the bowling's not there.
Yeah,
we still have the movies.
I was just in New Rochelle 2 weeks ago. I did one of these with someone that owns an escape room near New Rock, and we were talking about New Rock and
it's dying, man, but it's not dead.
Okay.
It's not dead yet. And my second favorite spot is Casa d'Italia. It's the best sandwich spot in Westchester. It's in Harrison, New York. I'm going to put you on. I'm going to send you myself.
Please put me on.
It's the best Italian deli. It's I don't
Shout
really,
out.
So I live in the Bronx now, so I don't go to Harrison as much as I used to. But when I go to Harrison, you better believe I'm going to Casa d'Italia. That's the spot. And number three is Westchester Community College, because it changed my life. When I went to Westchester, I was full-blown identity crisis. Coming out of playing college football and not really knowing what my next step was going to be, what my next path was going to be to chase a dream and get my degree. Right? I went to Westchester and made myself a little community, met the right people, started doing radio, and everything changed for me right then and there.
That's awesome,
Westchester
man.
Community College.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
It's funny.
Shout out WCC Vikings.
I don't think I've ever heard someone in my life praise that place more than you just did, which is it's amazing.
It's a tough spot because Westchester Community is often a place. I used to joke. It's a place where dreams go to die if you let them.
Yeah, it becomes 13th grade, as some people would say.
Exactly. And it's a shame because the resources and the educators there, they are everything you need if you seek them out.
Yeah. Awesome. That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Is there anything else you want to add that we didn't talk about? We talked a little bit about wrestling, a little bit about Westchester. Did we not talk about anything?
Anything I want to talk about that I haven't talked about yet? You know what? I hope that people go to the Galleria until it closes.
March 2023.
And I hope that everybody loves each other a little more in 2023. That's a hope for me.
Cheers to that, dude.
Yeah, shout out.
Thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you, man.